So you're thinking of moving to Las Vegas? In this video, we're going to go through the cost of living here in Vegas and the surrounding areas. And if you stick through to the end, I'm going to show you exactly what I paid in utilities over the course of 2021, so you get a good idea of what it's going to cost for you. So let's get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about moving to Las Vegas, go ahead and click subscribe and tap that bell for notifications, and you'll be the first in the know to find out what's happening in the market here in the Las Vegas area. Hi, my name is Anthony, and every day me and my team get calls and texts and emails from people just like you looking to make their move to Las Vegas, and I absolutely love it. If you're looking to move to Las Vegas or thinking about it within the next 9 to 90 days, go ahead and shoot us a text, send us an email, or give us a call, and we'd be more than happy to help you and make your move here smooth. So, in this video, what we're going to talk about is the cost of living in Las Vegas. We're going to show you what it is versus the average, what it is versus some of the places that a lot of people are moving here from, and show you, why Vegas is so attractive to so many people. I keep harping on it, and if you watch any of my videos, one of the big draws for coming to Las Vegas and Nevada in general is that we have no state income tax. So automatically, you're already getting a huge raise from saving all that money that you're paying the government where you are now. You're not paying it here. So that's one of the biggest draws that makes the cost of living so much more affordable, no matter where you're coming from, if you're coming from a state that you have state income taxes. But what is the rest of the cost of living like here? Well, we're gonna start by looking at a macro view. On the macro view, if we look at the entire United States, we use what's called a cost of living index. And what that does is it looks at several different categories. And those categories are food, transportation, housing, healthcare, disposable income, and it looks at that marketplace basket of goods and says, okay, what does it take in certain areas to live? So across the US, they've come up with this standard, and the standard is 100. The entire United States in general, we get a number of a cost of living index of 100. Here in Las Vegas, now this is the entire metro area of Las Vegas, which includes Summerlin, Henderson, Boulder City, and all the suburbs that make up the Las Vegas area. For that entire metropolitan statistic area, the cost of living index is 100.7. So we're just about average with the rest, with the United States as a whole. However, when you start looking at where the people that are moving here are coming from and one of the reasons why they're moving here, you'll see why. So let's just take our California friends that are looking to move from California to Las Vegas. Remember, Las Vegas as a whole has a cost of living index of 100.7. Let's take a look at a couple different cities in California. The cost of living index in San Francisco is 178, meaning it costs almost double to live in San Francisco than it does in the United States as a whole. Now, I'm sure you would agree, that is a big difference. Now, San Francisco is unique. San Francisco is the most expensive city to live via the cost of living index in the entire country. So it is a big gap. But what is it like in the rest of California? So let's travel around a little bit. The cost of living index in Los Angeles, now remember, Los Angeles is a big area, and this is the metropolitan statistic Los Angeles. So this includes all the way up from like a Palmdale and down part of Orange County. So this is a big chunk of area, and there's a lot of variance depending on where you go. The overall cost of living index for Los Angeles is 141, meaning you need 1.4 times as much to live the same lifestyle in Los Angeles that you would here in Las Vegas. Quality of life is fantastic. but the cost of living is even better. Now, if you go to Ventura County, which is just outside of Los Angeles, which includes Simi all the way up through Oxnard, Ventura, and so on, Santa Barbara, actually Santa Barbara is its own county, but all the way up there, the Ventura cost of living index is 132, meaning you need 1.3 times as much money to live the same lifestyle in Ventura that you would in the Las Vegas area. Again, you see why it's coming to Las Vegas. You get the better quality of life, or a great quality of life, for 33% less. And then if we make our way down south to San Diego has a cost of a living index of 136. Again, very similar. You got to make almost 1.3 times what you make here in Las Vegas in order to live the same quality of life in San Diego. You can see why it's so attractive to come move here and why so many people are flocking here. We're getting 300 to 400 people a day looking to make the move into Las Vegas. And this is one of the big reasons why, and why I'm sure that you're thinking about moving here, because you get so much more for your money. Your money just goes that much farther. Now, let's look at some other places. We get a lot of people moving here actually from Hawaii. So what is the cost of living index in Hawaii? Well, in Honolulu, the cost of living index is 137. Again, you need to make 1.3 times what you would make here in Las Vegas to live the same lifestyle. Buy the same things, it costs you 1.3 times more in Honolulu. Again, a great reason to move here. And even if you're coming from the Northwest, we got a lot of people moving here from the Northwest. In Seattle, the cost of living index is 125. You gotta make 1.25 what you would make here to live the same lifestyle here in Vegas that you would in Seattle. And our next location that we're gonna take a look at is Boston. Boston, cost of living index, 133, 100.7 for Las Vegas. You can see why we get a lot of people moving from the East Coast from Boston. Even if you look at New York City, you know, which surprises me a little bit, but New York City, when they look at that, there's lots of different parts of New York City. So their cost of living index, I would have personally thought it was going to be higher, but it's only 128. But that's because you have a lot of lower areas and you have a lot of higher areas. But the average for New York City is 128. But no matter if you're living in the low area or the high area, you're 1.28 versus the 100.7 that it is in Las Vegas. You're still gonna need less money to live the same lifestyle here in Las Vegas. It makes Las Vegas so attractive for all of those areas where you're paying and the cost of living is so much higher. Your money just stretches that much further here in Las Vegas. It is one of the reasons why we attract so many great people and such great talent, and why so many businesses are moving here, why Google's placing places here, why Amazon has a lot of different segments here and business units here. Everybody is looking at Las Vegas as one of the premier places to go. The job market is fantastic here. Yes, we do get a lot of people that are in the hospitality business, but our regular sectors are growing like you would have never believed. We have everything across the board, from tech companies all the way up to Warby Parker has a huge facility here. The UFC is here, obviously. There is just so much business activity coming into Las Vegas, and one of the primary reasons is because the cost of living is reasonable. You can attract great talent, a better wage here, and your money goes a heck of a lot farther. Las Vegas is booming. Cost of living is a big reason for it, and why that's a great place if you have your own business and are looking to move. This is a fantastic growth opportunity here. We have great people. Your money does go farther. But let's move on to the next thing. Let's look at the things we do on an everyday basis, okay? Let's look at, this is a big one. Now, at the time I'm filming this, I'm gonna give you the numbers for the time that I'm filming it. But I wanna show you what a gallon of gas costs here in Las Vegas versus some of those other locations. And we're gonna try and standardize it, and we're gonna use Costco. That way, we have a pretty fair indicator of what the location is doing for the gas price versus what the station is doing for the gas price. So let's look here. So a gallon of gas here in Las Vegas at Costco is ranging right now at the time of this filming between $3.39 and $3.49 a gallon. Now there's some differences depending on which municipality you're in. Henderson's a little bit different than Las Vegas, and each local area sometimes has a little bit different taxes. At the most, you're paying $3.49 a gallon here. Not too shabby. Let's take a look at what you're paying in some other places. In the Simi Valley Costco, for that same gallon of gas that you're paying $3.39 to $3.49 here in Vegas, you're paying $4.43 for. And in Burbank, just not too far away from Simi, you're paying $1 more, $4.39 a gallon. That's a lot. You think about a tank that takes up 15 or 16 or 20 gallons, you're talking a $16 to $20 difference every fill up. What would you do with that extra $20? You know, that extra $20 if you have to fill up once a week, that's 80 bucks. That could go a long way towards paying for something, and why the cost of living is so much better here. In San Diego, you are also at $4.12 a gallon. So you see there's a big gap there, and why the cost of living is so much better here in Las Vegas. Now, if we travel to the East Coast and you go to New York City, a gallon of gas there is actually $3.19 a gallon. So, you know, they beat us on the gas, but when you look at the whole cost of living index in general and everything, and you weigh it all out as a basket, we still beat them by quite a bit here for the cost of living. Seattle's at $3.56, so we're about on par there. But again, the cost of living in general is about a third less than what it is in Seattle here in Las Vegas. And finally, for our friends in Hawaii, Honolulu's Costco is at $4.08 a gallon as of the date that we're recording this. So again, you're at about a 60-cent difference per gallon here in Las Vegas versus in Honolulu. Gas, for the most part, depending on where you're coming from, is definitely going to be cheaper. Now, of course, there's pockets around the country that are going to be even cheaper than some of the places that we've talked about, and cheaper than Las Vegas. But overall, you can save a bunch of money just in gas by moving to Las Vegas. Now let's look at one of my favorites. What's the cost to go into the movies? So I looked at the tickets for a Saturday night, not a matinee, a regular showing, standard theater. And if you went to the AMC Century City Theater in LA, you're gonna pay $18.50 for that ticket. Here in Las Vegas, you're paying anywhere from $12 to $13 depending on which movie chain you go to. Now, for the most part, they're Regals here, but we do have AMC's and Century Cinemarks here. So that's where the difference comes in. So 12 to 13 versus 18.50. And even if you go to a theater out like in Simi Valley, you're gonna pay about $15.50 for a ticket. So your tickets for the movies, cheaper here for the most part. Another great reason to come here, and one of the reasons why our cost of living is so much better. Now let's talk about restaurants and eating out, because that is one of the big ones, especially when it comes to that discretionary spending component of the cost of living index. This one gets a little bit hairy, okay? And part of the reason is we have a lot of locals, over 2 million local residents here in the Las Vegas area, but we also draw in 41 plus million tourists every year. And a lot of our dining experiences, especially when you get down on the Strip, are dedicated towards servicing the tourists. And we have some of the most famous chefs that you could think of. We have a vibrant dining experience that rivals anywhere in the world. And I've been to Paris, I've lived in New York, I have been throughout Italy, I have been all over the world. And I will tell you that Las Vegas is right up there with every culinary center that you could think of around the world. Because there's so many people, we draw the best of the best to come here to set up shop. That being said, you can go out to dinner here and not hesitate at dropping $1,000 on a dinner. Is that what we're gonna do every night? Of course not. But it is available, and if you wanna go out and just do it big, you have the option to do it big here. And you have lots of options to do it big. I don't care if you want Italian, Asian, Mexican, it does not matter, French, we have everything. Korean, sushi, all of the great culinary experiences are available for you right here. But that's the Strip. So out of the Strip, remember the Strip is 3.5 miles long by a little less than half a mile wide. Tiny part of our 28 by 28 Las Vegas area. So what else is there? You know, those chefs, those restaurateurs, they also populate all of the suburbs, all of the area surrounding. So we get this culinary experience isn't just in that 3-mile area. We have so much that goes on, working their way up, working on their craft and providing the residents here, the 2+ million residents here in the Las Vegas area, with some fantastic culinary adventures as well. You can go anywhere and have a fantastic night out for $25, $30 and get a great meal and a great service and just a great experience. Or you can go the other way and you can go to the Strip to the, 3-star Michelin chef, drop $1,000. Your options are endless. If you're not willing or don't want to do the big dollar restaurants, there's tons of options to eat. In fact, one of the videos that I'm going to do and I'm going to post up here, one of the things that we have here in Vegas is taco shops that are unrivaled. Again, I've lived everywhere, eaten everywhere, and in fact, one time I moved from Las Vegas and I went back to LA for a while. So I went back to LA for a couple of years. And here in Vegas, I ate a lot of Roberto's Taco Shop, okay? Roberto's, if you come and move here, that will become one of your faves, I guarantee. There's a couple others, and like I said, I'll do a video comparing and contrasting some of those because taco shops are amazing here. But Roberto's, I think, is the #1. So I became a giant fan of Roberto's. I went to LA and I'm going, okay, I've lived in LA for a long time also. I know that there should be some great taco shops there. You know, I tried taco shop after taco shop after taco shop and I just could not find one as good as Roberto's. Anyways, I digress. I apologize for that. I'll make a video and really go into it because Roberto's is the place. All right, so let's talk about the next big thing. And this is what I was telling you at the beginning of the video. What does it cost utilities wise to live here in Vegas? Because you're going, shoot, it gets hot in the summer and it gets cold in the winter. So what does that do to the utilities? So let me break it down for you. I live in a pretty standard 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,100 square foot house. I have a decent yard. I don't have a pool, but I'm gonna break down what I paid over the last year, the last 12 months in utilities, so you can get an idea of what your utilities would look like. So the big one, the one that's the most expensive every month is your energy bill. Now, your energy bill here is through NV Energy for the most part. NV Energy is a regulated entity, so a regulated utility provider. So the numbers are pretty steady, but your usage will change over the months. So through anywhere from, it's about June through the middle of September, October, your energy bills go up because you're running the air conditioning a lot more than you would in general. The winter months, it goes down quite a bit. Now there's an inverse relationship between your energy bill and your gas bill. When you're using a lot of energy, you're using a lot less gas. When it gets cold, you use a lot less energy because you're not running the air conditioning and you're using gas. But that being said, over the last 12 months, I spent $2,327 to NV Energy. So that's 12 months, $2,327. That is an average of $193 per month. Out of that, the high bill was, I believe, in July, and it was $322, and my low bill was $117, and I believe that was in January. So you see, there is a big difference, and you need to budget for that when you're moving here, that your summer utilities are going to be, your summer energy bill is going to be twice as much in some instances as your bills during the winter, but you just need to know now that. And they also do have some great programs where you can do a level pay, so you don't have those big swings. They kind of look at your energy usage throughout the entire year, and they make an average, and then they just charge you that same amount every month, no matter how much or how little you use. You'll have to look into it with NV Energy, but it is a good option if you don't want to budget for those big swings. A energy bill that's double or triple what you're used to. Now, the other caveat to know is if you do have a pool, your equipment is going to also run up your energy bills. The last house I had, we did have a pool, and it was about $50 to $100 extra a month to run the filter, sometimes run the heater, and all of those things. So there is an increased cost if you do have a pool, and you need to think about that and budget for that as well. So energy, it could be a lot worse, and in some states it is a lot worse, but it's not bad for a couple $100 a month. You get that cost of living index down to 100.7, and that's one of the reasons why it's such an attractive place to move. Now, the next thing is your gas. Like I said, your gas bill is going to be inversely related to your energy bill. During the summer months, you're going to use a lot less gas because all you're really using it for is to cook. It's to heat your hot water. Other than that, you're not using it so much. You're not doing any heating, obviously, so that cuts down on that. But gas in general is pretty inexpensive. So let me break down what I paid over the last year and what it came out to on a monthly basis. So gas is provided by Southwest Gas, and they service Las Vegas, they service part of Arizona, and I think they service one other area. And over the last 12 months, I spent $645 in my gas bills, which comes out to, on average, $53 a month for natural gas use here. Now, in the high months, which I believe was January, I was at $97, and I think I had a $37 or $32 low bill. So as you can see, during the summer, the bill goes down. During the winter, when you're heating the house, because it does get cold here, we get down into the 30s. It does occasionally snow. It doesn't stick very long, but it does get cold enough where if we do have precipitation, it does come down as snow. So your winters are a little bit chilly. You will need a jacket, and you will need to run your heat. But for the $50-ish a month, it's not too shabby. So let's look at the last bill that you pay on a monthly basis, and that is your water bill. Now, where I live, we're serviced by the Las Vegas Valley Water District. There's a couple of different water districts depending on if you're in Summerlin, Las Vegas, Henderson, and we can go ahead and help you figure out who that is. In fact, one of the great things about working with us, we have an entire moving concierge that helps our clients. They get all their utilities set up, all their cables set up, waste and trash set up, everything like that we take care of and help guide you through, make sure you get the best deal and get everything set up. You don't have to figure out who to call. You call one number and they take care of everything for you. So for us, because we don't have a pool at this house, we paid $535 in total over the last year for our water bill. Now, one of the big things is we have desert landscaping, which 90+% of the homes have desert landscaping. We have water restrictions on how often you can water. If you see a lot of greenery in houses, especially if they're newer construction, you'll find that most of that is artificial grass, which looks fantastic. It's great upkeep, and you get the look without all the downsides of it. But that being said, you will see a lot of desert landscaping. So we don't have a ton of things to water, and they get watered maybe 3 days a week on a drip system. And we pay on average $50 a month. And that doesn't adjust too much depending on the season. It's pretty standard every month. It's right at about that number, plus or minus $10. So it's right in the ballpark. The next thing that you're going to need here, I'm sure, is cable and internet. Now, we've cut the cord here in our house. And again, my house is 2,100 square feet, 3 bedroom, 3 bath. There's 3 of us here. It's a pretty It's your standard 3-bedroom, 3-bath type house, nothing extravagant, nothing. It's right about the normal range of a home here. So we cut the cord with, and we don't have cable, but what we do have is the best internet. We have Cox provided internet, and we have a gigabit service. Now, is it a gigabit? It falls a little bit short, but is it fast? Heck yes, it's fast. We run so many devices, so many TVs, so many computers off of that internet. We stream all day long, and there is no problem with that. And for that, we pay $135 a month. A little bit pricey. There are some other options here. There's CenturyLink, and I think there's a Spectrum here. So there's a couple different other options that you can look at. And again, if you become a client of ours and you move here, our concierge will help show you all the different options, and you can choose the one that's best for you. But we just went with the basic Cox Gigabit, which is their highest level service, and it's $135 a month. The last thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to establish with Republic Waste Service. Now, we have 2 cans. They come out once a week. They also do bulk pickup every other week, which is fantastic. You can put anything out there. I mean, you can put couches out there, boxes out there, I mean, anything you want out there, and they come by and pick it up every other week. You don't have to bring it to the dump. You don't have to rent a U-Haul. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And we pay $32 a month for that service. In average, I think we pay just around $450 a month in utilities and waste management. Not too bad. And it's one of the reasons why our cost of living is so much better here than in so many other locations. It's just a fantastic place. I'd love to show you more, show you exactly what you might be looking at. Your dollar just really goes far here, especially if you're moving, gosh, if you're moving from San Francisco, it's like doubling your pay. And there are a lot of places to go and use that extra money. And that is one of the other really cool things. It isn't a place where you're gonna go and all that savings, the cost of living savings, you're gonna be like, great, I have all this cost of living savings, but there's nothing to do. See, that's where Las Vegas is unique. This is the entertainment capital of the world. We have shows, dining, experiences that you can't get anywhere else. And it's all right here, and it is one of the reasons why that dollar does go far. You are living in a tourist destination where 42 million people a year want to come to. You have access to 24/7, 365, and it doesn't cost you a penny extra to get here, to stay here. Just a real reason why the cost of living is so great here in Las Vegas, and one of the reasons why I'm sure you're thinking about moving here. And if you are thinking about moving here, like I said, give us a call, shoot us a text, send me an email, and we'd be more than happy to get you moved here, show you what's available, and see where your best spot is to make Las Vegas and the Las Vegas area your new home. Until the next video, or until I see you here, I look forward to talking to you, and thanks for coming by.